Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I bring you greetings from people of unity, faith, and praise. We are a global ministry, and we bring to you our day the unity word for the month of March. The unity word for the month of March is faith. We're going to talk a little bit about what it is and dissect the verse a little bit. So grab your pen and paper and let's go. So, faith, what is it? Hebrews 11 and 1 describes it this way. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It's a very familiar verse that most of us learn coming up through our regular rituals and services and practices in our faith in church, no matter what denomination. One of the words that I would like to start with in that verse is the word now. We tend to use it kind of lackadaisically, but when I looked it up in the Bible dictionary, it says the word now means present time or moment. It also means immediacy and urgency. In other words, faith has to be exercised in real time with a sense of urgency, not a sense of fear, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. But rather a sense of urgency, knowing that it is without faith, it is impossible to please God. So as a believer, if your desire is to please God and to do things His way, it's called prepare ye the way of the Lord, then you have to have a little bit of urgency behind how you exercise your faith on a daily basis. Romans 10 and 17, and I apologize if you hear my parrot in the background. He's praising God too. Romans 10 and 17 says, so faith comes from hearing the message, and through the message, the preaching or the teaching of Christ. So faith comes from hearing. In other words, you got to be in a place where you can get regular feeding that's Christ-centered to be able to exercise your faith, to understand the linkage of how God made this thing to work. And you have to hear the preaching and the teaching of Christ. If faith is preaching anything other than Christ, other than you leaning on God, other than you learning His ways, other than you taking on His ways and exercising His ways, then that's the wrong teaching. Go back and ask God, is this where I'm supposed to be? Go back and ask God, is this the right teacher for me? Because everything's not for everybody. It depends on where you are. I'm going to paraphrase. It says He's going to give it to you according to how you can handle it, or He's going to mete it out to you based on what you have to give back, what you can understand, and what you can exercise. In other words, your language should change. So if you've been exercising faith up to a point, let's say for instance, and now you're thinking God is going kind of silent. It's not God that's in error. It's us that need to come up. It's us that need to change our language. It's us to study God's word more about what it means to have faith through the preaching and teaching of that which is Christ. Mark 11 and 22 says, faith of a mustard seed. And we all know that's a very familiar scripture, that this faith can move mountains into the sea. When you have some, a mustard seed is so small you can barely see it in your hand. You need a magnifying glass if you want the truth of the matter. But the mustard seed, when it grows, it first has to die in the soil. It has to shed all of its outer covering and make its inner core, or for us, our soul and our spirit, bare. Laying in that soil, praying and making sure that the nutrients of the soil are what's needed in order for the mustard seed to grow. Are you well fertilized? Are you good soil? Not a word of conviction or condemnation, but rather a self-examination to make sure that the ground that you're putting your faith in is prepared and ready. And you don't even have to do it by yourself. Just ask God. The word says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God. He will give it to us liberally and will not chastise us for asking. I know some people say, you can't question God. That's not true. You can ask God anything that's on your mind. You can't hurt His feelings, and you can't break Him down. You can only gain knowledge even through the rough places. The last verse we'll visit for today is Genesis 15 and 6, talking about good old brother Abraham. It says, Abraham believed the Lord, and he credited to him as righteousness. We all know in the worldly realm, to have good credit, you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can have anything that you want. Just imagine flipping that and putting the Spirit of God, putting the teachings of Christ first as you exercise your faith, as you learn what faith is, as you learn how to become faith, as you learn how to receive faith, as you learn how to plant faith, water it, fertilize it, grow it, give it good sunshine. He credited it to him as righteousness. Righteousness means to be in good standing with the Lord. It means a relationship that's tight. How's your relationship today relative to your faith? Do you just say, I believe God, and put no action behind it? Do you demonstrate faith so that others may see Christ in you? Because remember, all of God's words work together so that we can have life and life more abundantly. It means that when somebody see you exercising your faith, it should encourage them. It should tickle that faith gene in them. Because remember, he made us in his image and after his likeness at the very beginning. So everything that we need, including faith, is already on the inside of us. It is when we choose to activate it and demonstrate it to other people that the faith that was given to them before the foundation of the world can be activated as well. I like energy attracts like. Be attractive. Let your faith draw people in. Know what faith is and be able to not only live it, but to demonstrate it so that others themselves can grow their faith. That's all we have for today on this Unity Word of Faith. Exercise it today. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Until next time, exercise your faith and join us on Sunday mornings at 9:20 a.m. for people of unity, faith, and grace. Bye.